Hey guys, I just thought I'd give you a little heads up on this little budget. I think a few of you, it's towards the end of the week and maybe overthought it. I wanted to make it real simple and I can appreciate that too. Sometimes I overthink things as well. But let me just go through this. This is a zero sum budget. Okay, that's got to mean something to you with what we've covered on budgeting in this class. I'm just going to go through a quick example on how we would actually do this. Okay, I've already entered in there $2,000 for my monthly income for my budgeted amount. And of course, I wanted you to go back. How do you make a budget? That's the big thing, is you've got all kinds of historical data. Maybe March is not like January or February, but at least it's a starting point. And budgeting is a skill that we develop. It's almost like a sixth sense once you've been doing it for long enough. It takes at least 3 months to get good at it, and if you haven't been doing it. So if you miss the mark and you overspend, you underspend, all those kinds of things, we can make up for that, and you can learn and develop that skill. So I put my $2,000 in there, as you can see, and it fills in. It says, well, these are some made up percentages. Let's just go with that. Okay. Well, this being a zero sum budget is that I've got to give a name to every dollar within this budget. So here's your takeaway from this is that if I've got anything left in remaining balance, these are unnamed dollars. So actually I've got to budget another $360 in order to make this actually come to zero. My remaining balance should be zero in this case. Okay, so I've got to spend $360. Now, in the spirit of which we've been talking about, profit first, pay yourself first, in the budget application here is that, hey, listen, at the beginning of the month, I ought to give a name to profit as an expense, or leftovers, give names to what I will be able to save. So, I mean, maybe this month you're going to have $360 above and beyond your budget that you've got put together here. So I can actually apply that $360. Here's the simple thing to do. Maybe I'm going to save an extra $300 here. So I'll make that $500. Okay. And then my remaining balance, see, it's at 60. So I got to have $60 to give a name to. And maybe you're going to spend it, you're going to splurge and go out on Friday night. Okay. This is the budget. This is the whole thing, is that when you start doing your own budget, it's your money. You get to decide. Okay. So, but maybe at church they've got an extra, a family in need, and there's an extra offering, and you just say, well, I'm going to throw another $60 in the plate. So we'll all have that ability to do that. I can budget it. And you see now, I budgeted all $2,000 of my $2,000 income. And I've increased my charity in this case and my savings in the other case. And so that's what it's meant by a zero-sum budget. Try not to overthink this. I know this is actually a very simplistic budget, and that makes it kind of hard for many of you that have been experiencing life for many years. I understand that. But for the typical college student, I think this is a really good place to start so that you can play with these numbers. And that's what the big part of it is. Okay? It restricts you. You got to kind of force them in there. Okay? So if you get this message and you want to go ahead and change your budget so that the remaining balance, you give a name to every dollar in your budget, and the remaining balance is zero, you still have the ability to change that through tonight. So good luck to you. happy budgeting. Don't want to make a big deal out of it. Most people think budgeting is not the nicest thing to do, but actually, if you get, again, like I pointed out in the beginning of this video, is that it's after you've been practicing it, it's almost becomes innate. It becomes a part of what you do, and it's a real quick exercise at the beginning of the month. And some people's lives are just more complicated. If you're starting out and you're 19 years old, you may not have that complicated of a scenario. If you're, up in your 30s and 40s, and running your own business and all that, well, things get a little more complex. And, one thing to stick to that I think is really important is don't try to overcomplicate things. So, I mean, if you've got 1,000 by 1,000 spreadsheet that brings your budget together, probably, unless you've got a really sophisticated business, a really, really sophisticated personal life, then you probably don't need that extra. Next week, we're going to apply these same principles, but we're going to actually give you the flexibility to change some of these categories and make your own categories. If you've got some expenses and income, probably, that will make it a little more complex. So happy budgeting again. If you have any questions, give me a call. I did get Starlink. Elon Musk sent me a satellite the other day, and it seems like my internet is doing better. And the caveat to that is that my cell phone is also doing better. So you are certainly welcome to call me, and make sure that you leave a voice message if you would, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, thank you.